Hi, so I'm making a short video to give you some tips on how to get sharp images. So, um, now there's a few things that are important to bear in mind is most people, when we're taking photos of their eyes, they try and help, and it actually doesn't help. So one of the things they do is they kind of open one eye, but when you open only one eye, the other one actually closes more, even though they think that you only want to take one eye. By closing the other one, it actually closes that one there. So what I normally do is I take photos standing up, so I get them to stand up, relax their shoulders. So I tell them, so I'm going to take a photo of your eye, relax your shoulders, breathe normally. You take charge of the situation. You actually guide them in exactly what they need to do, and it helps them relax, and that's the key bit. They have to be relaxed for them to be able to open their eyes the most. Obviously, if there's bright light coming in from any direction or from that doesn't help. Or if it's early in the morning in the winter, their eyes aren't acclimatized to bright lights yet, and I think that can affect it as well sometimes, or late at night. But anyway, that's the usual. So I tell them, so relax your shoulders, breathe normally, and then I'm going to tell them exactly what I'm going to do before I do it. I say, I'm going to come with the camera close up. It's going to come and touch your eyebrow. And I just want you to blink normally. And when I'm ready, I will tell you, open both eyes wide. And I'll just say, open wide. And then you just open wide as much as you can, just for a couple of seconds, and I'll take my photos then. Because it's very easy to open your eyes very wide, but only for about 5 seconds, and then it becomes a bit kind of uncomfortable. So you want them to kind of blink as much as possible while you're getting ready and positioning the camera in the right position. So that's the setup. That's the first bit that's important to get. So the next bit is, I normally take photos in burst mode. So black button and then grey button. And I keep the black button pressed, and then the camera needs to be on burst mode. So just double checking this camera here. There we go. Okay, so what I do then is, I always do this. Well, sorry, no, not always, but most of the time I do this. I place the camera on my thumb, and then my fingers go on their forehead. And what that enables me to do is, it gives me very fine control of where I move the camera. There's no risk of me bumping into them, or if I do bump into them, it's very gently. While if I hold it like a normal camera, like most photographers use it like that, I'm holding it and I can, like, it's much easier to bump them in the nose or in the eye, the eyebrow. And as soon as you've done that once, they'll always be a little bit more scared of it happening again, and it'll be much more difficult for them to open their eyes. So fine control, that's the second important aspect of it, is being very clear on how you approach the eye. And what you want to do, and this is very important, is the focus range. The camera is set up, so just so that you understand, is some cameras have an adapter. This is this one here. Some cameras don't. It doesn't really matter. But if you need an adapter, you need an adapter. It won't fit if not. But then you've got either two, like I've got here, or one ring. You need about 30 to 36 millimeters. And what that does is, they're called extension tubes. And what they do is, they take the lens and move it further away from the camera. It increases the distance between that. And what that does is, it enables you to come closer and actually fill the photo even more with the eye, so the iris. And because you want to maximize all the megapixels, you want them to be focused on the information that's in the iris. So that's an important part. So, but then what happens is, it reduces the available focus area that the lens can actually use. So what you have to do is, you have to come into contact with this part here. Like, if you're just a little bit further away, there's a good chance the camera won't be able to focus. Or if it does focus, the light is actually designed for the iris to be exactly here, so in this area here. And so if you're a little bit further away, you'll have a lot less light. And it can actually, if you take one photo kind of close up and another photo further away, it'll give you the impression that some of the colors will change as well, because the intensity of the light affects how colors are represented on the camera, or on the photo, I mean. So it's important to come into contact with it's mainly the side of the nose here and a little bit the eyebrow here. But every face is different, like the shape of the nose, the shape of the eyebrows. It may come in contact kind of more on the top rather than on the bottom. But what you want is, when you're looking at the screen or through the viewfinder, you want to just make sure that the iris is in the right position. Now, another thing to bear in mind now is, so that's the distance. The other bit is, if like the shape of the face, and some faces are even more so, is it kind of makes the camera want to go out to the side. Like it feels like it's a better fit on here, but you can't, that's not what we want. What we want is, and this is what I try and tell the clients sometimes, is imagine they're Pinocchio, like they've got a long nose, like straight in the middle of their face. And you want to be as parallel as possible to that nose. Like you don't want to go off to the sides too much. And that may force you to kind of move back a little bit, because the shape of the nose or something like that. And that's okay if it's a little bit. But you don't want to kind of go too far out to the side, because what happens is you'll tend to get them to then look further out towards a camera, or they will naturally do it. They will naturally try and help you, and what that does is the iris will move out to the corners much more, and you'll have even less space available, and then the eyelids will become more of an issue. So you want to be as parallel as possible to that medium, like that line that intersects right in the center here, and as close as possible. Now, those are the kind of like the main aspects of the positioning of the camera. It's like riding a bike. You're going to have to practice kind of getting all of those things working together at the same time. But after a while, just like riding a bike, you just forget that you're even riding a bike. You'll just do it naturally. So positioning it, the distance, not knocking their face, relaxing their shoulders, then coming in close as possible, but staying in the center of the body, or as much as possible. It's not perfect. Like just a little bit out is okay. Like like the eye can kind of, there's a bit of a margin here. Like you've got a little bit of flexibility, but you don't want to go all the way out to the side. Kind of that's what I'm saying. The other bit is when the way the camera works, and that's all digital cameras now, is when you half press the button, like if I put the lights back on, if I half press, if you listen, it will kind of do a little bit. Let me put it by the microphone. So you can hear the lens going, it's trying to find the focus point, and it's doing it automatically, and it does a pretty good job. When it's doing that, as soon as it finds a place that's in focus, it will lock onto it and then do a little beep. From that time, like as soon as it does that beep, it's frozen. Like it's not going to keep on moving afterwards. So if you get the camera to do the focusing and it gets to that beep, you kind of want to take that photo as quickly as possible after that. If you still move around, the camera's not going to follow that focus point. So if you go, if it does the beep and you wait, there's a very good chance that you're going to move out of position, even just a slightly, even like a millimeter. You will be out of focus compared to where it was focusing on. So you kind of want to do it quite quickly. So normally this is what you should hear. So I've got it on my finger here, so it should focus on my finger here. Hang on. So it's like beep beep beep, like dig 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 beep click. Like I take the photo really quickly after that. what else can I say about getting it in focus? So that's that. So getting the lighting right and the settings, but that's like in the other video where I talk about settings. It's good to know about your camera, so it's good to practice changing some of the settings and seeing what it does. There's loads of videos on YouTube that talk about the manual, taking photos on manual, and it helps you understand the balance between aperture, speed, and ISO. And those three elements are kind of like the key things to get in balance. But it's a longer video. But the standard settings will work 9 times out of 10. But it's good to know your camera as much as possible. I think that's probably about it. Sometimes the lights don't flash, and that could be a setting, or this thing not being attached properly, or the battery being out. So sometimes if you see the light kind of going up and down in intensity, that means it's detecting that the battery is low, so you have to change it, and there's a video that shows you how to change the battery. I think that's about it. Sorry, it's a bit of a long video here. Yeah, I'll upload this. If you've got any other questions, I can make another video and do a specific on your questions. Okay, thanks. Have a good day.